0 volts, 0 dB. Hybrid mode, manual mode, expo off, expo on.
Hey, what's going on everybody? It's your favorite Introvert here, and today we're going to be going over my settings on the QX7 so that I can fly the Parrot Disco while connected still to the Sky Controller 2. Basically what we're going to be going over is basic settings to get you into the ballpark to be able to use the QX7 to fly your Parrot Disco, and once you have these settings, it is up to you to then further dial in your disco. But I'm hoping to get you guys in the ballpark so you can start using your QX7 with the disco. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so we're basically going to be scrolling through these pages here for the setup. We are entered into our disco model in our QX7. We are on page 2. Model name is disco. Our timer is set by the throttle. Persistence is off. Countdown is voice. Timer 2 is off. We'll go down here because all of my other timers are off, and this is personal settings that you guys may want to set up, but I have not. To show trims, yes. Trim steps, medium. Trim reverse is off. T source is throttle. Our pre-flight checks are throttle warning. S warnings, we have nothing selected here. POTS warnings off. Our controller beep is red at 12. Global functions is checked. Internal RF, I have my mode as D16. Channel range is channel 1 through 16. Now I guess it's helpful to mention that I am using the X4R receiver. So we'll be showing that here in a second. And my channel ranges is 1 through 16. Fail safes is custom. You want to set your fail safes and set it to the way that you want. So that is going to be for page 2. Let's go to page 3. This is going to be a blank page with nothing filled out here. So I'll just scroll down and let you guys know. It's basically a heli setup, and we're not a heli. Our flight modes, there's nothing selected here. And 5. So here I have the main settings that's going to help you out and what it's set to. So ailerons 100 with expo set to 70. The channel is SF and it's up. Elevator is minus 100, so it is reversed essentially, and its expo is 70 as well. Keep in mind that your expo is going to be one set by you and what you're comfortable with. Throttle set to 100 on the 3rd channel. 4th channel is rudder at 100, and mod 100 on SA switch. 06, 07 set to S2 and S1 respectively. And if you don't understand this, don't worry about it, guys. Just set it to these settings. Later we'll show you what they do in relation to the channels. For our mixer, channel 1 is aileron at 100% with expo of 30. Channel 2, 100% elevator for E30. Channel 3, 100% for throttle. Channel 4 is rudder. Channel 5 is SA, which is a switch, and that switches the modes. So SA is right here.
Hybrid mode, manual mode, auto mode.
All right. Channel 6 and channel 7. We'll scroll down and there's nothing selected there. So moving on to channel 7, our outputs. Basically nothing to do here. So we'll move on. Channel 8 is our throttle curves. Page 9, logical switches.
All right, just to talk about the logical switches for a second here. You have L01 and L02. You may recall seeing this a while back in some of the settings. But the A greater than X and the A less than X, these are for the A2. This is going to be your telemetry voltage. Basically, this will be showing the voltage coming from the chuck going to the Taranis X4R receiver. And I have a low voltage warning of 10.6 volts and a high voltage warning of 12.3 volts on L01. More concerned with the lower voltage over the higher voltage because the chuck does a pretty good job of regulating that, but want to let you guys know that is what these two logical switches are for.
Page 10, these are your special functions. This is what you're going to tell your controller to do and say when you use the switches. So SA with the position down, you're going to play track manual mode. And again, that's this switch here.
Hybrid mode. Manual mode.
So switches all the way down. It's going to say that it's in manual mode. SA in the center switch here is going to play track hybrid mode. SA in the full up position
Auto mode.
is going to say that it is in auto mode. And if you go back to my previous video, I showed you how to load these custom sounds. It'll be linked right here in the top of your screen. So SF, play track Expo on. So
Expo off. Expo on.
there you go, Expo on. And SF down.
Expo off.
I'm going to show you Expo off. SH down, play A2. SH down, play RSSI.
0 volts, 0 dB.
Selected. So those are your sounds and what switch assignments they have. Page 11 is your telemetry. So this is basically used with your QX7. You hook it up using the telemetry, RSSI or receiver strength signal index. You have a low warning set to where you would like it, your critical alarm set to wherever you like it. Just disable alarms if you don't want to be notified about it, and you can scroll down here and this will be active when you're linked to your receiver, so don't worry about it. And here you can select once you're initially binding and setting it up, you can discover your sensors, and that'll get your info to display there. So just keep that in mind. A lot of this information will be set up once you link the telemetry to your QX7. So as long as you have a telemetry receiver, you'll be able to receive or set up and program what you see there. So next page on the display screen, that's basically the initial model screen that you look into. You can set it to what you want to see here and where you would like it to be visible. This is all personal preference and customization, so you guys feel free to set it up how you like. This is just basically showing what I have set up. So that is all 12 pages of what I have set up for the QX7. Let's go ahead and turn on the Disco and show you basically what it does when it's all connected and everything like that. All right, and just for reference, I'm using the FrSky X4R receiver, and my servo wire or my connector is plugged into the S bus there. So I have some Velcro on the back, receiver antennas. So one thing definitely to note is that because we're using a telemetry system, a telemetry receiver on the Disco, it does in fact interfere with the Parrot chuck. So in order for it to work, or at least in order it to work as best it can, I plug it in as far away from the chuck as possible. Originally I had tried to mount it on top of the chuck, but the interference was too much and it would overcome the ability for the FrSky receiver and transmitter to talk to each other. So as long as you have that situated, you'll be okay. I'm sorry about the bump there. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to plug it in. We're going to plug our receiver into our little S-bus connector there, and that's for any receiver that you choose to use. I believe it's compatible with most of the popular receiver transmitter combos. Just do your research and due diligence to figure that out before you jump in using something other than FrSky. And basically I just force it down so it sticks in there, and put a little tape over it if you would like, but you just run power to it, tuck the cords away however you would like, and that's basically it. So we'll turn on the Disco, we'll turn on the
Welcome to OpenTX.
transmitter.
Auto mode. Expo off.
There we go. So now that's turned on, we'll go ahead and turn on our Sky Controller 2, which if you're at the field, you should connect that first. just for safety reasons. Not that anything's going to happen, but all right. So we have full
Telemetry recovered.
connectivity, and we can see the camera there, even when still connected to the Disco. So
Telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered.
all right, that's probably because you want to make sure that your wires aren't crossing. There we go. Okay, so I've taken the prop off. Let's go ahead.
Expo on.
Turn Expo.
Hybrid mode. Manual mode.
All right, this is manual mode with the settings that I have so far. Again, manual mode allows you to
Telemetry lost.
Alright, so manual mode allows you to have full control over your
Sensor
Disco.
lost. Telemetry recovered.
Sorry, it's going to go crazy. Alright, manual mode allows you to operate the Disco in full control without any correction from the computer or flight stabilizer. So this is definitely the mode that you have to be most careful and most cautious in. But if ever you get yourself into a
Telemetry
bind,
lost. Hybrid mode.
you can turn it
Telemetry
into hybrid
recovered.
mode, which it allows for stabilization to be kicked in, as well as use of your controller. Basically, hybrid mode is how your Sky controller reacts while flying the Disco. It's going to be the same feel from your QX7. So you're going to have your bank limitations, you're going to have your speed limitations, and all that cool jazz. So
Auto mode.
auto mode is, as it states, it's full auto, so it's Sky controller only, and you can fly it using Sky controller.
Expo off.
Expo off, you
Hybrid
can.
mode. Manual mode.
That's when it really turns into a dancing queen.
Telemetry lost.
So once you launch your Parrot Disco, you're gonna have full control using Sky Controller 2, and basically the controller is gonna act the same way on the ground as your Sky Controller does. So once you launch, and once you're in manual mode, or once you're in hybrid mode, and once you're in auto mode, it's gonna handle
Telemetry lost.
the same in flight.
Telemetry recovered.
Let's see what I was saying about the.
Telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered.
So there's still some work going
Telemetry
on,
lost.
some work
Telemetry recovered.
needed to be done.
Telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered.
There's still some troubleshooting to be done to figure out why it's losing so much connection. Could be my data cable here, could be a number of things, a number of interference reasons. But anyway, you can turn that warning off as well if you don't want to hear about it, because you still have control. Anyway, as I was saying, if you're familiar with the Disco, you won't have ground control while using Sky Controller. Auto mode is when the Sky Controller is fully activated, and the QX7 will not have any control whatsoever.
Hybrid mode.
Hybrid mode will be you have the same control from the QX7 as you do the Sky Controller, which means your roll and your pitch is governed by the stabilizers. It will only let you go so much. And this is where you can take control in the loiter mode, and you can fly it how it will. It's very limited on the ground when using hybrid mode and auto mode, just like it is on the Sky Controller 2.
Manual mode.
Manual mode is, as it states, it is full manual, full hands-on aerobatic capabilities. You fly it like a regular airplane without any stabilization involved. And this is when you want to be on the sticks and fully participating in flying your Disco, because these things get really fun really quick. It's highly maneuverable, highly aerobatic. The one thing is your video will be running when in full manual mode. It's just you're going to be hitting your limitations as far as like the computer stabilized video, and you'll see what I mean. You'll see black parts in the video when you're doing high bank, high roll maneuvers. The computer is basically trying to compensate and keep the image as stable as possible but it does a poor job. Well, I guess, you know, it does it as best of job as it can, but in reality that ruins the video instead of if it was just like a fixed FPV camera. But if you're in aerobatic mode, you're not really in cinematic filming mindset anyway. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments below. I'll be happy to help you guys out. It took me a little bit to figure this stuff out, but I just worked through it. And other than having a constant state of losing my telemetry, which, I mean, I'm not really worried about because I'm not staring at telemetry while flying in line of sight. And that's what this does. You just fly line of sight because, I mean, you can't really fly as far as if you're hooked up via Wi-Fi through Sky Controller. Just, yeah, go out and have fun. Enjoy the QX7. Enjoy what the Disco can do in manual mode because it's super fun flying aerobatics with this thing. And yeah, give me a shout out and let me know if you were able to set it up the way that I did. Let me know how your Disco flies, and remember to set up your expos and your trims to your comfort levels. And this can all be done while leaving it in hybrid mode. That's definitely helpful. And have your Sky Controller 2 nearby and handy just in case you need to go into panic mode. And remember, if you're in manual mode and you're flying and you get bent out of shape, don't be scared
Auto mode.
to flip it into auto mode because that'll send it back to the Sky Controller 2 where you have full control, and it'll auto stabilize itself and return to level flying. So just remember, keep in mind, don't be in a panic if you're in manual mode and you get bent out of shape. Just flip it into auto mode and the Disco will auto correct and smooth out for you, and hopefully you won't end up in a tree or smashed into the ground. So keep that in mind. Hope it helps. Links below for what I've used. There'll be Amazon links below for what I've used for the QX7, the X4R, and just other little things that I've found helpful. So hope you help that out. And just to let you guys know, those affiliate links do help me out and help the channel out at no additional cost to you guys. So I really appreciate y'all's support. So I hope this video was helpful. I'm sorry it took so long for me to do, but hopefully this helps out and you guys are able to fly the QX7. So that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching.